Hey everybody, this is Phreak bringing you an audio commentary for WCReplays.com, and this is a game between Fav and Remind, and it focuses on the Undead versus Orc matchup. And it's going to be talking about fast tier 3 harassment and how to fight battles, basically. Also, I'll be going into the mechanics of armor a little bit, and some of the hero choices going on. Now get this to the 1 minute mark at the 1x speed. From Fav's or whomever's point of view, I'm choosing the observers because I'll go over both players a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and actually unpause this pretty soon. So if you're not at 1 minute and 1x speed, pause this audio. When you get there, resume this, and I'll begin the countdown. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, so the point of this game is, again, to talk to you about Undead versus Orc. And it's about fast tier 3 and just how to abuse Death Knight Lich Dark Ranger. Because yeah, spoiler alert, we're going to be using Dark Ranger a little bit. So, you see that he's going for a fast hero build. The Altar Ziggurat, and then Crypt, and then Shop, and then Graveyard. It's a very specific build order. You see the Acolyte built in there as well to scout, because he's getting the fast hero and he needs to know where his opponent is in order to attack him. Right? Not very difficult stuff to remember, I suppose. So you see, he just starts his ghouls, and the Echo is scouting, and there's not really much else going on Fav's end of the game. Remind, however, is sending this PN out to, I believe, build a shop down here, and sure enough, a forward shop so that he can purchase healing and then creep really hard without having to worry about getting owned or whatever. So we're going to see how this harass goes in just a minute, and I will be going over that for you so that you know what's going on up in this deal. So, you notice that the Blademaster uses Windwalk this pretty much the second he comes out of the altar, and then waits for his grunt to show up and starts fighting here. And you notice if he attacks first, he manages to get Purge first. However, I think that is a mistake, because you'll notice that now the Null Warden, which does piercing damage, is going after the grunt, whereas his Blademaster is simply tanking the normal damage of the Overseer. I guess at the same time, you know, basically creeps will target whatever's purged. It's how they work. Everything ranged will hit everything that's purged, and melee, if they have a preference, you know, if they're next to something purged and something not, they'll go after the purged unit. Now, by letting the Blademaster get purged first, he obviously attracts the attention of all the creeps, because he was in range of the melee guy. But then about a half second later, the other grunt got purged, which made both the ranged units switch focus. Now, it's very easy to keep a melee unit from hitting you because you can simply, you know, move away or move into it, and that's pretty easy. But I mean, it's a pretty small point because the grunt's fairly healthy. He lost 50 health. Oh no, big deal. But it's something that you may want to consider. Test it out for yourself. See which you know, saves you the most heartache on your grunts. Okay, so next point. Oh, and apparently that was the wrong grunt. The other one actually took like 100-something damage, but still, it's not huge. Fav, meanwhile, you can see him going for the fast Crypt Fiend, and then Ziggurat, tier 2, obviously already on the way. And he's simply going to be trying to keep tabs on his opponent, you know, harass him and all that, and try not to get owned. So, unfortunately, he manages to feed his opponent one of his skeletons. And what that does is it allows Remind to get level 2, which is very bad stuff. And you notice right away, he went for the boots, but Remind has boots as well, but his Death Knight is going to be getting hit a lot, and it's going to be very painful for him to keep trying to run around and harass when he can get chased around the map by this Blademaster so incredibly easily. And you notice every time he turns, he gets a free hit in, because when you're fast heroes, a little bit of movement is you know, a small directional change is a lot of distance, and that's something to be wary of. So Fav tried to go for the creep still, obviously did not get it. He's going to try to chase this grunt down here though, and I believe both players had their units like AFK until Remind figured it out, and so Fav simply ran his fiend away, and you know, then he finally realizes out what's going on with the Death Knight. He's going to chop this down. He really should just go for like mad coil sniping right here. Instead he tries to chase it down with just pure damage, and notice how much it hurts him. Right, he got crit on twice, you know, he took a ton of damage. Blademaster not only has a circle but also gloves of haste. Just a ton of damage output there, and really if he'd just gone for the screw it coil, he would have gotten that grunt kill. It would have been very useful for him. But he's going to run this fiend down. He's going to try to jack the salve off, and there it is. That sounded kind of gross. I'm sorry. But, you know, whatever. So, Fiend getting focused, coils it obviously because you want to keep your stuff alive. And this is going to be very interesting. You're going to see the Death Knight is going to get pretty much ripped on by Remind's super micro own-edginess. And Fob's going to try to run into his base, and oh look, grunt, peace. And I don't believe he actually tried to block the Death Knight. I think he just tried to run his grunt away, but his pathing would solve the game. It managed to block the hell out of his units. So, Death Knight down, but even still, he's not out of the game. It's just level 1, and you know, he's going to be fine. Now, I can hear the naysayers right now whining, oh my god, the Blademaster's level 2, the Death Knight has no experience, you know, the Death Knight even died, Orc is so unbalanced, oh my god, this matchup's terrible. Well, no, listen, you freaking tech to tier 2 without building any combat units whatsoever, and tried to harass with just a hero against a bunch of 700 hit point, normal damage units. This isn't Night Elf. You can't just simply run around beasting on a Dark Ranger and Beastmaster and archers for 20 minutes while you build a bunch of gargoyles. Orc actually has the ability to defend himself early game. Cry about it. So, you see that he pulls the creeps out with the fiends. He's going to go for this focus here. It's pretty easy to do this kind of stuff. You know, you just bring in the skeletons, you bring in the fiends, and you go do your thing. It's pretty easy stuff. And obviously you can tell that he has the melee guys tanking it, but he's got to be careful because, again, there's that purge, and it made him go for the Death Knight. So he takes one hit, but then he easily pulls back, and then the purge goes away, and, you know, la-di-da, everyone's happy. Now, he does coil to steal the creep because you never know when the Blademaster might show up and try to be, you know, very annoying. And so you simply say, you know what, mana regenerates, I need level 2. So let's do this. You know, the risks greatly... anyway. So, goes in for the creep jack, easy stuff here, just going for whatever's in range. You know, he doesn't like dive in and go for the Blademaster or anything because he can simply windwalk away. Good stuff there with the coil, you know, keeps attention on, you know, what's taking damage, what he can steal. I think Remind really should have been more conscious of that fact and faked out the coil or simply killed it with windwalk. He could have easily gotten that kill because the creep was very low when it actually got coil sniped, enough for windwalk probably to do enough to finish it off, so whatever. So, Files regrouping into the back of his base. You see that the fruits of his fast tier 3 are simply 3 fiends, an orb, and a statue. I mean, he's got 34 food, but his army is quite decent. You know, by contrast, Remind only has, well, 39 food. They both went tier 3. He's got 39, but Fav's got 37. So, you know, a little bit less. And he's making a fiend right now, so his army itself isn't even that big. But it doesn't matter, because he's got an orb. He got the first orb. He's got, you know, heroes and fun stuff. But you notice also that he went Frost Armor first, because Orcs love to hero focus. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone who plays this game. And the thing is, Frost Armor is really, really useful, and up to the point that your opponent gets an Orb of Lightning, Frost Armor will basically keep your stuff alive close to indefinitely, as long as you have enough mana to spam coils, which is what the statues are for. You can keep stuff alive very easily with Frost Armor. Now, of course, the result of Remind going faster 3 is that he has an Orb of Lightning, but it just turns the